Hi, everyone. Good morning. This is Sabrina from Gray Matters again. It's so good to see you all. Thank you for those of you who have joined me here today so far. This is our third episode in our webinars series, and today we'll be talking sort of about the energy between the brain and the body. So it's currently 10, and we'll officially get started at 10:05. But I am with you all this morning. In fact, the sun just came in through my window, so you can maybe see the reflection. But it is beautiful, and I am so excited to be with you all today. So while we're waiting, I'm just going to set an intention for us. And I'm actually going to smudge and light some eucalyptus for us today before we get started. So I have my candle in front of me. You can see it. It is lit. So I am going to smudge for us. Maybe you could see the smoke. And I love eucalyptus. And I just want to have everybody I want everybody to be grounded, and I invite everyone to be grounded with me before we begin, and to just start thinking about the energy in your body this morning, right? So if you could just start thinking about that, and I'm just putting some eucalyptus so that I can breathe a little bit better with you all. But if we could just start thinking about how energy is moving through us this morning, I think that would be great. And then again, at 10:05, we'll officially get started. Yes, and I'm also going to have some sage go around as well. So it's really amazing to be with you all again on this Monday morning, April 6th at 10. Thank you for those of you who are with me so far. And I'm just I'm feeling a little congestion today in my body. And so sometimes I just like to breathe in these scents to help me kind of exhale and purge anything that I might not need as I start this day. So we have about 2 more minutes. And I just want to encourage you all to think about, where are you currently in your spaces right now? Is there a lot of light? Is there, do you have the curtains drawn? Is there sun coming in at all? Is it cold? Is it warm? And just to really think about sort of where you are right now, and how your body is feeling. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but just, as a warm up to think about if there's any restriction in the body, or if there's anything that you're feeling especially strongly this morning, to just kind of sit with that. And I'm just going to keep breathing in eucalyptus. And we have about 1 more minute, and then we'll get started. And you can feel free to put on some light music, grab a cup of tea, anything that might help you just feel more in your body this morning. Any scents, candle, anything at all, whatever might be helpful. Yeah, so 1 more minute to go. And I am still kind of just breathing this in. I love the smell of eucalyptus and how it kind of instantly calms my body. So yeah, we have about 1 more minute. And I hope that everyone this morning is just doing something that is grounding them in regards to just setting the scene, setting the space. Okay, so it is currently 10:05, and we will get started. So again, to any newcomers that might be with me today or might join in later, my name is Sabrina. I'm just going to provide a little recap. We have started this webinar series in response to sort of the emotional turbulence and heaviness that is quite rampant during this time of COVID-19. And every Monday and Friday from 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., we will be putting on different episodes featuring different ways, techniques, support moments, processes that might help alleviate any stressors or tension or anxiety or just feelings of overwhelm. So this is the third series. This is the third episode in our series. And yeah, so, we've really implemented this to really be in solidarity with all of you and to be in community with all of you as we navigate this time individually and collectively. Yeah. So some housekeeping stuff. I can't see or hear any of you, but I can talk to you via the chat function. So if any of you want to communicate to me or want to say anything in the chat, which I completely welcome, just be sure to remind yourself that none of your comments will be anonymous unless you change your username. So you have to change your username, and then you can write anything that you'd like in the chat. And I will also post in the chat a resource link and the email that you can use if you want to send us any questions or send us anything of that nature. Okay, so we are going to begin. And yeah, so chat, make sure you change your name. Sabrina, I am one of the clinical psychotherapists and curriculum development specialists at Gray Matters. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. And I'm really just excited to start off the day with you all. All right, so as we transition, I know I set that intention for this morning of just really distilling ourselves and becoming attuned with how our bodies are feeling this morning. I'm going to invite you all to just really think about your brain and your body, and brain, head center or mind space. Think about sort of that plus your body and how your mind space and your body space have either been interacting or not interacting during this time. And so I really just want to encourage everyone to just take a moment and to really just think about how your body and brain perhaps have moved or occupied different spaces over the last 3 weeks, especially as we've been inside, most of us self-isolating. How has your mind or body felt? As you've been taking the necessary precautions or just either working from home or not working from home or any of the myriad things that have come or befallen some of us during these past weeks. I really just want to invite you all to sort of sit and center and tap in and lean in into how energy has either manifested or not via your body and your brain space, your mind space. And an example like this, just for my own self, is that I've noticed that in the past three weeks, there's been a lot more tightness in my body, and that energy has not been flowing as seamlessly as it typically does. I'm used to sort of like walking a lot and like walking here and there and being intimate with the people I see on the streets, whether that means looking at people, watching people, them watching me, public transportation, saying hello to someone, just having that general sort of sense of human connectivity. That's been very different for me over the last 3 weeks, and I'm sure for a lot of you as well. And so I've been feeling a lot of location in my body, almost like another kind of dysphoria, just like not really feeling like I'm inside my body much at all, and sort of feeling this gulf over the past kind of 3 weeks. And then in my brain space or in my head space, my mind space, I've been feeling like a lot of sort of emotional heaviness and just a lot of kind of grieving and longing, and missing and hurting for my community and for sort of my fellow siblings who are in the art spaces or who are in abusive situations where they're staying, or for folks who don't even have a place to stay. I feel like my hurting for the world has just metastasized over the past couple of weeks. And so the energy in my head and in my body are very incongruent at this moment. So I just want to invite folks to just take a pause for a moment and just really kind of reflect back. Um, how have things been showing up in your headspace and in your body? How have things come up for you? How are things kind of feeling as you move forward through this? So I just want to encourage folks to take a couple of moments and to just think about that. And then we'll move on into our exercise for the day. But yeah, just sort of thinking about, have any different feelings come up for you? Any feelings of particular sadness or re-remembering, or I don't know, just any sort of like, where has your headspace taken you, and where that journey or that place that, or those places that your headspace has taken you, how has that shown up in your body, if it has at all? And there's no right or wrong answer, just to remind folks, anything that's showing up for you is valid. Anything that's showing up for you is real. You very well might not be transported anywhere. You might not be feeling anything differently than before all of this started. Any place where you're at is where we will meet you, is where I will meet you. And so I just want to also say that as well. Like, there's no right or wrong answer to this. I just want folks to, I invite folks to just lean into the energy as of late that has been circulating through their headspace and their body. So I just want folks to think about that for a moment. Yeah. And then we'll get started in like one moment. Thank you all so much for being with me as well. I am very grateful and honored that I get to share space with you this morning. Okay, so now it is 10:13, and I would really invite everyone to sort of transition into the activity part of today's episode. We will be doing a writing prompt. So I encourage you all to just get something out that you can write on. It doesn't have to be a notebook. It doesn't have to even be tactile. You can write on your laptop as well. I like writing in notebooks. So I just figured maybe I'd be intentional today and write something down with a pen. But there's no correct way to do this. Whatever feels affirming for you. Computer, if you want to do like a voice message, if you want to text yourself, it could be any number of those things. So I want to really just invite us into a writing exercise today, if folks are able to write. And if not, feel free to either speak this out, or again, like do a voice recording, or just maybe have a conversation with yourself if you're not able to write at this time. And so I just want to invite us all to really think about, again, the energy connectivity or the disconnectivity between our head spaces or our head centers and our bodies as of lately. So I wanted to invite us all to try a writing prompt that we could all do together. And it's 10:14, so I figure about in 6 minutes at 10:20, we could all regroup. And, maybe if folks wanted to share out some of the things that came up for them during this activity via the chat function, that would be great. You don't have to, though. I'll maybe share something. Yeah, so the writing prompt for today is to write about how your body and headspace feel this morning, right? And to just really locate and melt into that center point and to just kind of write about how you feel this morning. Does the energy feel good? Is the energy blocked? Do you find that there's a connection between your headspace and your body? If not, that's okay too. I'm just completely wanting to know sort of how folks are being in their bodies this morning and how energy is speaking to you or through you this morning. Okay? And please chat in the chat function if that doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, so it is 10:16. So we have about 4 minutes, and I'm just going to encourage you all to just write whatever comes to mind. This doesn't have to be full sentences, nothing at all. And we'll regroup at 10:20. We have about 2 more minutes, everyone. So just take your time. And, if you finish early, just feel free to stay with me. I'm with you all. We've got about 1 more minute. So just take your time. And I'm so glad that you are with me. We've got about 15 more seconds. Hey, welcome back. I just want to encourage everyone to think about maybe how that felt. Did it feel hard to do that writing exercise? Did it feel easy? Um, what was sort of coming up for you as you did that? Um, did you feel inclined to do it? Did you feel like maybe it was monotonous or something that you know was difficult to maybe tap into and do? So I'm just really curious to know like how that felt for people and how that felt for folks, and if you noticed anything about where your mind might have been going to, or if you noticed anything about where your brain space was headed, or where how your body felt. Was there any feeling of levity as you did that, and sort of what came up? And I'm also really curious to know how did it feel to tap into something creatively, if that was part of your process, and sort of what came up for you as you wrote. And so, I know we can't share out, and I know that we're not in a group, but I will share my poem. I'm a poet, and so a lot of the times I think my thoughts via poems. Um, and so while I was sort of interrogating like the connection between my headspace and my body, or the lack of connection over the last 3 weeks, a poem manifested. So I will share my poem really fast and then sort of talk about, we can continue to process this together before we move into our last phase. So I wrote, body like a weeping wound, teeth in my lungs, morning being flushed away with all those excess coffee grinds. What happens to the city of me when the body of myself goes missing? What happens when I go missing? Fingernails on my tongue, my organs a lopsided entree. These days, I lean into search. I look for myself and the others. And so that was just sort of like the poem that came to mind for me. Um, there sort of feels like a mashup inside me, both headspace wise and body wise. I feel like I haven't been able to sort of like stretch and sort of be outside and like let my energy run, let my energy breathe. So I've been really trying to find creative ways to like tap into that incongruence and alleviate it somehow. And so I feel like a lot of my body has been missing or running away from me as of late. And I feel like my emotions or my emotional landscape has been following suit. Um, and it's been a really heavy time. So I just want to process with you all and ask you what you noticed about your body or what you noticed about your headspace while you were doing this activity. And this morning, if you noticed anything in particular, like, was there anything this morning that really stuck with you, or anything this morning that felt like anything this morning that really felt particularly anchoring, or particularly disrupting for you? Sort of, how did you sleep last night? Did you have anything to eat this morning, or drink this morning? And sort of, how has your body and headspace just felt, and how is it feeling this morning? Um, and so I'm really curious to know how that felt for folks, and did you feel like you found anything in this writing exercise? Were you able to sort of like find a locus point, or distill yourself into a feeling, or find a way or a space to make sense of something that you hadn't had a chance to make sense of before? um yeah, so I really just want to like encourage folks to think about that, and to sort of like think about what it means this morning to just melt into that space of sort of just going over what you're thinking about, and what might be showing up for you, and where your energy is being channeled this morning, like where is it actually going this morning, can be really helpful as well. And then I just want to invite you all to maybe do 3 closing breaths with me before we get into our last segment. So I'm going to do this with you. And I'll count off to 3, and we can do 3 deep breaths in a series. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you for doing that with me. And to just sort of like shake it off, shake anything off from that exercise, and just kind of let your body breathe a little bit, let your body air out a little bit. And so now for the latter portion of this episode, I thought that maybe it might be helpful to just go over some strategies to sort of better connect with the energy between our brain and body. And so one of the things that I've been sort of exploring and looking into is possibly creating like a calm calendar. And this can be a really great way to maybe just tap into art and tap into doing something less digital, perhaps, or just tapping into something that involves tactility. And so creating like a calm calendar can be, you just putting down like the days of the month and maybe just locating or finding one calming exercise or activity or intentional thing that you're going to do for that day in the event that you need some calming, or in the event that there's been like an intrusive thought or a bout of anxiety that's come on, or just something that's disrupting like the daily flow that you're experiencing in the day. That can be really awesome and just really helpful. That can look like lighting a candle in the morning. That can look like, that can look like so many different things. It can look like smudging. It can look like taking, laying on your back, putting your hand on your belly, and just feeling your chest and your belly sort of rise and fall as you breathe, as you deep breathe. So this could be anything, but a strategy that I found to be particularly helpful is just kind of maybe having a calendar or having something that's visually appealing to you that you can refer back to, that just makes you feel like you can have a reference point in the event that something's coming up for you that you want to reroute. Another strategy or suggestion that can be really helpful is having music alleviate you and just giving you bounty when you need it, or giving you lightness, giving you a different kind of energy. I am thinking about sort of making a playlist for us here in maybe one of the next episodes, but just really kind of like tapping into sound and letting your body resonate inside of it or not, or finding a song that really inspires you or really like activates or catalyzes something in you for that day can be really grounding and just centering. So I really want to encourage you all to think about that and to just sort of like think about what it means to be calm, and like what does calmness look like for you or mean for you, and just kind of like what does it mean to let energy air out in our bodies, and float more effortlessly or exist more effortlessly for us. So that's definitely a resource, just kind of tapping into like music, or something artistic, or through an artistic lens, like creating like maybe a calming intention vision board. This could be like a really great time for that. And then the last thing I really think is a useful strategy is really tapping into smell. And, I've heard that smell is often very connected to our memories. And so this could potentially like this could retrieve or unlock some positive moments or experiences or memories that have been maybe embedded in us that are maybe particularly hard to find in the midst of such daunting information around us consistently. But really tapping into scent, and so like an essential oil, a lotion, if that applies to you, if that's healthy for you, if that affirms you. Um, just sometimes I like to mix like salt and honey and just really like smell the honey, or maybe add like a couple of drops of lavender essential oil and just really immerse yourself in that. So those are just some three small strategies that can just help us connect with the energy of our senses and how that energy might be showing up in our brain or in our head spaces, and then flowing out throughout the body. So I really just want to thank you all so much for being here with me today. It is an honor, as always, to share space with you and to co-create space with you. So I will be signing off. And I can't wait to have another episode with you all again. Please, please email us. I'm going to send you things in the chat. I am having some trouble finding the chat right now. So excuse me for that, but we will post up the resource sheet and the email that you can find. I don't want to like press a wrong button that accidentally doesn't save this or end this properly, but I'm having trouble seeing the chat on my screen right now. So I apologize for that. I saw it last. Okay. So I'm not sure what's happening now, but we will post up that information for you pronto. And I really enjoyed seeing you all. I'm not seeing you all, but feeling like I'm seeing you all, feeling like I'm with your energy. And I hope you have a blessed Monday. And I hope that today greets you with something that offers you peace and offers you groundedness and offers you affirmation in being in your body. All right. So good to see you all.